Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Genevieve. I'm a psychic medium, energy healer, and artist. And today I wanted to make a video about predictions. Predictions is a huge topic, and I've wanted to make a video about this for a long time. And this video is just basically a discussion to start off on this subject because there is so much to say. And I'm basically making this video because I'm really interested in what other people have to say, whether you are a psychic or you are a customer, what your experiences have been, what your theories are, and we can all learn from each other. So, predictions is something that is very common in the work that I do. I myself, as a customer, have very frequently gone to a psychic to ask what the future holds. And my clients also ask me what the future holds. And the truth is that sometimes my predictions are accurate and sometimes they are not. And when I go to other psychics who are excellent at what they do, their predictions are sometimes right and sometimes not. And sometimes they're even mostly not. So predictions are like the weather. You can predict certain things, and other things can be completely wrong, can be completely other than what you think it's going to be. So why is that? Well, I've thought a lot about that, and there are internal factors and there are external factors that influence whether a prediction actually turns out to be correct or not. And the most important thing to understand about predictions is that time doesn't really exist. So when we look at predictions, we are typically looking down a projected timeline, which is based on the reality at the point of the reading. And a lot of things can change. Everything is in flux. Everything is subject to free will. We have a lot of things to consider in terms of understanding why predictions sometimes work out and sometimes do not. We must also understand that there isn't just one reality. There are at least two realities in terms of the big picture, and those are the divine reality, meaning the reality that is in the realm of the energy of Source God Creator. Within that field of pure love, the soul has actually created a plan for a lifetime in consultation with guides and spiritual advisors. The soul has come up with a very comprehensive plan for how that soul is going to actually develop itself, grow, have the experiences which are important, meet its karmic obligations. And so there is a life plan that is plotted pre-birth, which includes soul contracts with other beings, other incarnations, and agreements and goals. And all of this is done knowing that there is another reality. On the highest level, the main reality is the source reality, but of course, we also have the opposite of source here on earth in this dualistic reality that we've been living in. We also have anti-source, or the dark side. And the dark side has its own agenda, and that agenda involves, to a very large degree, as much as possible, controlling the outcomes which occur on the light side to the dark side's benefit, to the dark side's agenda. So you may be a person who doesn't believe in good and evil, dark and light, and then maybe this line of reasoning isn't for you. But I definitely do believe that there are these two primal fundamental forces in our reality. And whatever the light side has actually planned out, the dark side usually wants to intercept and change, particularly because the agenda of the light side at this time is, of course, to get rid of the dark side, the dark interference, and create this new reality, this golden age that we are actually walking into right now. And I truly believe that the darkness has lost and the light has won. But we're not yet at the point that the darkness has completely gone away. And if anything, the darkness is actually ramping up efforts to make as much death, misery, destruction, and chaos as possible on its way out. So, we have these two fundamental forces at play, and we have two sets of timelines at the highest level. Then going down a resolution, you can say closer to our day-to-day lives, there are many, many timelines which get formed and reformed on a moment-to-moment basis through our free will. So your soul may have made all kinds of plans, and perhaps you do have a destiny that you are going to reach one way or the other. But the road to that end goal or end state can change tremendously, and it can indeed be interrupted completely. That is a possibility. So as we go through our lives, we may be deeply connected with what our soul intends and wants for us. And we may feel these deep soul knowings that we just have to move to this country, or we just have to take this job, or we really have to pursue this career, or this particular person just feels so right to us. We have to have them in our lives, for example, or a child who is destined to be born to a parent. There are many destinies that we uphold in our lives. And at the same time, we are subject to massive influence, which influences our free will, for the good or for the bad. So even though the soul has a plan, the individuation, our individual personalities with their will, can also be influenced to make a decision that goes against what their soul actually had planned for them. It may go against the agreements that they have had with other people who are in their lives, and they may find themselves on a different trajectory. So in this instance, the universe, the source reality, is going to guide them in the best way possible to provide other opportunities, other options, other timelines open up, which are for their highest good in the given situation. Meaning it may not be the optimal soul path that the soul had planned pre-birth, but it is going to deliver on as many of the experiences as the soul had intended through other means, maybe not all in one package. For example, maybe a career gets split up into parts, or rather than the one true love, you're having these sets of other relationships at different stages of your life that emulate what the evolution of that ideal relationship would have been. So there are many ways, and the universe is infinite and endless. So we must understand that the source reality, the source God creator reality, the divine reality is always guiding us back on our path. Our guides, our spiritual advisors, our angels, our loved ones are always offering their assistance to guide us back. But we have ultimate power over our reality because we have free will. So, can free will be influenced? Absolutely. And it is every day. There's a massive battle for your free will to get you to think that you're doing the right thing when you're actually acting against your own interests. So, how is free will influenced? Well, the most effective means of influence are typically fear, influencing you to go into more negative states of belief and understanding about yourself and others. Trauma can strongly influence our ability to create from free will, to create the outcomes which are right for us. We can be influenced away from that through lack of self-esteem, lack of belief that life is going to work out for us, lack of trust in God, in source, in your highest good being fulfilled. And that's unfortunately the state of the world that we've been living in for a very long time. So there are internal factors, meaning how you feel within yourself can affect how you think about things, how you see things, the choices that you make through your free will, and therefore that can have a huge effect on your life path. And there are external factors wanting you to go in one way or the other. Quite often, I have received a prediction with a certain time frame, and it absolutely didn't happen within that time frame, but maybe it happened later. And I have been also giving predictions to clients where it didn't happen within the time frame, but it did happen slightly later. I've also given predictions which were highly accurate about things, surprisingly so. When you get a prediction that doesn't quite work out the way that it was presented to you, it doesn't necessarily mean that the psychic or whoever is giving the prediction is wrong, because they can only predict from the point in time, which doesn't really exist, but the point of reality, let's say, maybe that's more accurate, at which you are being given the prediction. Even giving a prediction can change the outcome of the prediction, because as so many experiments in quantum physics have proven, when energy is observed, it changes form to meet the expectations of the observer to a degree. So if you are given, let's say, a negative health prognosis, let's say you go to the doctor and you're told, well, according to our estimates, you have 3 months to live. Just receiving that information requires your consciousness to decide what it wants to do about this. And just receiving such a diagnosis can actually inspire people to totally change that diagnosis. People have been known to live way beyond the prognosis that they were given. In fact, they've been known to fully reverse the condition that they were in that was giving rise to this prognosis of an untimely death. So we are extremely powerful. And one thing that predictions can do, which is not very positive, is predictions can actually make people feel kind of imprisoned in their own fate. Like they can't change their fate. Their fate is sealed, and all of their fears about their own doom and destruction can be triggered, and they might spiral down into a depression, which puts them in a situation where their health decreases, and through their own power of creative thought, through their own expectations, they actually manifest and usher in that reality on that timeline of events. But the opposite is also true. So when you're given a prediction about something that makes you happy and it doesn't work out in the time frame that was indicated, just hold on to the happy feeling to the best of your ability and appreciate that it will actually happen in due time, that the universe is capable of delivering to you all sorts of experiences which make you very happy, and they can fall under all sorts of topics in your life. But the main thing is that um, if you have a belief that things are working out for you, that positive outcomes are possible for you, and you really invest your focus, your amazing, powerful, creative focus into the outcomes which feel good and stay centered in that feeling of feeling good and release the expectation around how and when that is going to happen, then you put yourself in the best possible opportunity for things to work out the way that you hope they will. Another thing that I like to work with clients who ask for predictions is probabilities, because everything is possible, or at least I believe that everything is possible. However, not everything is probable, or rather, not everything shares the same probabilities. And that's an important distinction to make. It may be possible for you to go on that dream holiday that you've been planning in your imagination for so many years. It's definitely possible. But if you don't have the money and the time, then the probabilities go down substantially. So then when we work with probabilities, we can see that in a different reality, then the probabilities of that holiday increase substantially. So rather than saying, no, that's not possible, that's never going to happen, it can be more helpful to tell someone that under certain circumstances, the probabilities will increase a lot. One subject where I am very often asked for predictions, and myself have asked for predictions, is in love and relationships. And the thing about love and relationships, really actually just about everything, is that everyone has free will, and therefore there are a tremendous amount of circumstances which are outside of any of our control when it comes to decisions around love and relationships, and just about everything. So, other people use their free will to make decisions, and those decisions can influence what is available to you in your projected reality. Uh, it doesn't necessarily mean that what is meant for you will never come to you, although it could, but it does mean that time frames can change a lot. So let me just give you one example off the top of my head. Let's say that Fred and Mary are supposed to meet this coming summer. That is the predestined time. They're supposed to meet, they're supposed to fall in love, and they're supposed to get together and fulfill a deeply karmic relationship that is important for their soul's growth trajectory in these lifetimes they're having. Now, if them getting together is dependent upon the plans of other people, let's say there are children in their lives and those children need to do certain things in their world, which is very important. Or let's say they have a loved one who falls ill and needs to be taken care of, and this actually changes the plan. This might change the time frame for their meeting to a whole another year, or even more or less. So we need to understand that even though the universe can deliver everything to anybody, everything is possible, probabilities in terms of timing change drastically, even moment to moment. And therefore, always keep that in mind when you ask for a prediction. Keep in mind that everything is in flux, that there are a tremendous number of influences, that free will is here, that we have the battle of good and evil going on all around us in our day-to-day lives, and that usually, if something is predestined for you, it will occur in your lifetime one way or another, but the path there can vary tremendously from one day to another. And if you are looking for a change in the external world, well, you can't influence and control the external world, that's for sure. There are forces which are bigger than you, and everyone has free will. So a lot of what happens in terms of external influences is very much out of your control. What you do have control over to a large degree is what happens inside of you. So you can actually grow, evolve, change, improve, um, be more loving to yourself, work on your issues, become more honest with yourself, uh, treat yourself better, take care of your health, become more mindful, become a better person, a better version of you. And every time you become a better version of you, you kind of go up in the elevator to higher levels of possibility. So, what is on a timeline at a certain level of your consciousness may be very different to the timelines and opportunities which are available on another level of your consciousness. So, by actually changing yourself, you change your destiny. And that's what I'd like to leave you with. And take predictions with a healthy grain of salt. That's my message for today. Thanks for listening. And I'd love to hear from you and what you think about predictions.